what was going on with the Christian. Was Paul a Christian? No, Paul was not a Christian. And Paul tells you this. So what we want to do, we want to look at a few things to understand what the whole premise was all around. And that's what we're going to look at. And we're going to see this, and I'm going to walk through it, and then I'm going to have to break my chalkboard out to where he can understand it. Okay, so we're going to look at Acts chapter 26. We're going to go to verse 1. See, this is something they don't do. It says, Then King Agrippa said unto Paul, Thou art permitted to speak for thyself. Then Paul stretched forth his hands and answered for himself, I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee, touching all things whereof I'm accused of the Jews. We're going to find out exactly what this is talking about. We're going to see exactly what this is talking about now, because I'm going to chew it up some more and regurgitate it so they can get what this whole issue was. It says, especially, he's talking to King Agrippa, because I know thee to be expert in all customs and questions which are among the Jews. So he lied just now, because he said King Agrippa didn't know this. It's telling you right there, all things concerning the customs and questions which are among the Jews. Not talking about just what's going on in the Old Testament, talking about what's going on right now. That's why he says, I know thee to be expert. Actually, let me highlight some of this. Let's highlight some of this. So he'll get it, and you'll see for yourself. So he says, I know thee to be expert in all questions that which are among the Jews, wherever I beseech thee to hear me patiently. So King Agrippa was accustomed. He was an expert in all questions and custom among the Jews, which he stated which was contrary. So we need to find out, why was Paul even caught up with this? So this is why I say I'm gonna educate him. I'm going to educate him. Even though he has nothing to do with the Bible, he got two people who blaspheme who don't have nothing to do with the Bible now, but I'm going to educate him. Because the reason why I'm doing this is a lot of people from the Church of Christ sent me emails, and they the ones sent me this video. Some people at the Church of Christ, because they said it was on the cuff, and they wanted to see would you answer this to give us a little bit more clarity, so we can know, because we need to understand. So I say, no, I don't have a problem doing that. I'm gonna show you, and we're going to look at it. So this wasn't sent by one of my people. This was sent by your people. Who's on the cuff, and they sitting there thinking they're saying you really embarrassing them anyway, based on the way what you guys are doing. So this was the issue. It says this. It says, the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles, I want you to pay attention to that, the Gentiles had also received word of God. Now the apostles and all of them was all about this. But the problem we're going to see is not talking about Gentiles that you think it's talking about. It's not talking about that. It's talking about men who was acting like Gentiles. These was Hebrews acting as Greeks and everything else. And we're going to see that. I'm going to promise you, I'm going to show you everything. It says this, and when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that was of the circumcision, which was the problem, contended with him. Because this is where the problem is. This was the problem. And watch what it says here. Saying, thou wentest in to the men uncircumcised, and didst sit and eat with them. You see what's going on. So Peter, while he's sitting with them, he's telling them what's going on. He's talking about what was going on, because he's going to tell them why he was sitting there and what was going on. And we're going to see some of this, and then I'm going to show you something else. And it says this. And Peter rehearsed on the matter from the beginning and expounded by order of them, saying, I was in the city of Joppa praying and went into a trance and saw a vision, and certain vessel descendants. I'm going to show you that, because this is what happened to him. This is what went on with him, to where he got into some things. So let's look at this to where we can see this vision that Peter is talking about, to where we can sit there and see what was happening. So we over here in 10:1, and we're going to see part of this here. So we over here in 10:1, but we're going to look at verse 5. And it says, now send men to Joppa, but this is ain't talking about Peter. So we want to get down to Peter, where Peter actually had that, where Peter went through that. And we're looking at verse 10. And we're going to see what happened with Peter. It says, and he came very hungry, and he would have eaten, but while he made ready, he fell into a trance. This is what Peter is telling them back in chapter 11. He's telling these guys about this. And he saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending on him, and he had seen a great sheet in four corners that let down of the earth, and wherein all manner, not all unclean, all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And he saw, and then he heard the voice from heaven, talking about, rise, Peter, kill and eat. This is what Peter is talking about over here. This is what Peter is actually talking. He's telling these guys about this issue here. And one of the main parts is talking about Cornelius also, because Cornelius, which you also lied about, Javier, you clearly lied about Javier. You said that some things was happening, but we're gonna deal with all of it together. So in verse 1, we're gonna see something. It says, and there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, who was also a Hebrew, and a centurion of the band of the Italian band. Just telling you what member he was part of. But he said, a devout man. You said he wasn't saved, but you gotta go to the end, and then you are saved. Actually, let me show you this. So you'll know. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 13, it says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So how you going around telling people that when you guys baptize them, they're saved? You're lying.